Hello, everyone, to the first ever episode of the ISHR Perspectives podcast, where we try to bring views from many different stakeholders at the International School Hanover region to the table. Today is the first episode, and I'll be your host, Nick Huneman. I'm currently a 11th grader at ISHR, and I've been here since kindergarten. I've invited 3 guests to discuss the topic of the school's mission and vision for 2023 to 2026. Belong, Learn, Thrive. Our first guest is the school's director, Mr. Barker. Mr. Barker, would you mind introducing yourself briefly?
Not at all. So my name is John Barker. I am the school director. I'm in my 3rd year as school director here in Hanover, and I am in my 23rd year of international education.
Right, very nice. How about you, Ms. Bertzik? Would you mind introducing yourself?
Sure. My name is Mallory Burzik. This is my 2nd year at ISHR and my 13th year of teaching. Before that, I was in the marketing world.
Right, now finally we have Say.
I'm a student at ISHR and I'm in 8th grade. My name is Say, and yeah, I'm really happy to be here.
Right, very nice. So, Mr. Barker, would you mind explaining to the audience what Belong, Learn, Thrive is?
Okay, so I'm just going to take a step back first and say that when I first arrived at the school, one of the things that I was looking at is that do the students, do the teachers, do the parents and the community, do they know what the school vision is? And one of the things that I recognized very quickly is that the school vision that was in existence at the time was strong and was noble, with lots of good sentiment, but I couldn't find anybody who could tell me what that vision was in its entirety. And that's a problem. If you're going to bring a school community together, you have to have a vision that everybody knows, everybody understands, and everybody can get behind and everybody can live. So we started the process of thinking about what a new vision for the school could be. And we looked at various different options, but we thought that ultimately simplicity was a virtue. And through consultation with various groups, student council, with the teachers, we narrowed it down to the 3 key words, which are belong, learn, and thrive. And for our school, we think that encapsulates the vision very, very well, because if you are going to thrive, which is the end game, as a student, obviously, to be able to thrive, you have to be able to learn. That's the main purpose of the school. But to learn successfully, you have to feel that you are safe and you have to feel that you belong in a school. And so that, I think, was a good balance in terms of the vision that we chose for the school. And a vision should be aspirational. A vision shouldn't be something that is ever done. You're always working towards that vision. So it's not that at any point we're going to say, right, well, everybody belongs and everybody learns and everybody thrives, job done. That's not the purpose of the vision. It should be aspirational and something that everybody can get behind. So that's where that's the origin story.
Right, that's very interesting. Thank you. Ms. Bertzik, how about you? What do you do? Mr. Barker mentioned thriving. What do you do specifically in classrooms to help your students thrive?
Sure, that's a great question. I really believe that classrooms should have a semblance of real world in it. So when I'm thinking about the activities and the summative assessments in particular that I want my students to do, I'm really trying to think of things that are interactive, that when they leave this building, they could actually apply that knowledge in a new way. And often I'm saying things like, when you leave this building, you could use this skill for this, and career. So they have kind of a vision of how it could be applied. But also, I think thriving just looks like a classroom that is alive, like a classroom that has new experiences, that has conversations that are authentic and exciting for students.
Yeah. I can say that's yeah, it works. It's amazing.
Say has been my student before. So.
Yeah. So, Say, do you wanna just elaborate on that and talk about how you thrive in your classrooms, or how you?
Yeah, I mean, for example, we have advisory, and there we talk with our teachers, and we kind of bond as a class together, and it really strengthens our relationships, for example, with each other, and yeah, it's amazing.
And to expand on that, the first word is belonging. Belonging is very interesting word. How do you believe the school helps you, or what do you do in the everyday life to help yourself and other students? How can they belong to this community?
Yeah, well, for example, how I feel that I belong is in for example, after school activities. We have a lot of different after school activities where we work together, and the teachers there are really helpful as well. And it really makes me belong in such a community that we have here. And overall, it's amazing.
Okay, very nice, thank you. So, Mr. Barker, you're the father of 2 daughters.
I am.
And
Guilty
so you
as
have
charged.
you have different perspectives too, and this is what we try to emphasize on this podcast. So, would you mind elaborating what it's like as a father, a director, as what it looks like for you?
I mean, sometimes it's not the easiest of combinations. I think any teacher who has the child in the school will second that. It's hard, not necessarily for the adults, but it's certainly hard for the children. I mean, ultimately, it's a nice problem to have when you've got your own children in the school. I think that's a gift. But particularly when my girls became teenagers, it becomes more of an issue. There's pluses to it. You know, if you want honest critique about how an assembly's gone, or you know, how the interactions that I may have with children in the corridors, then you're going to get honest feedback at the dinner table, which is not necessarily a bad thing. It's difficult. You know, I've moved around a lot with my daughters in various different countries, and those transitions don't get easier as you move around. But I would say that the international education that my daughters have received has been amazing. And if I compare that to my own fairly limited monocultural education in the north of England, the experiences that they have had, the people that they've met, the places that they've been, that sort of intercultural competency that they've developed, the language skills that they've developed, I think that will stand them in good stead for the rest of their lives. So although it comes with some threat, I think the opportunities far outweigh that.
Yeah, and what do you see the role of parents? Because you are a parent, you and Ms. Bertzik, you might want to elaborate on what can parents do to also help, or how can parents feel that they belong in the community?
I think it's important because the vision isn't just for the teachers, it's not just for the students, it's for everybody in the community. So I think it's important that when parents join a school and join our school, that when they're signing the contract, they understand this is the school that they are sending their children to. This is what we stand for. This is what we represent, and I think that's very important. And the parents in the school are partners. You know, they're partners in education. You know, you as students, you spend a good deal of time here, but you spend a significantly greater amount of time at home with your parents. So it's really important that we have that sense of partnership and buy-in from the parents, and that they support not only their own individual child, which is of course their main priority and their prerogative, but they support the school and the school's vision.
Do you want to add something to that, Ms.
Absolutely. I think that it's really good for parents to continue having conversations at home about what kids are doing in school, even when they are teenagers. It's really like teenagers are doing amazing things in the classroom, and teenagers are really capable of high-level critical thinking if they're given the opportunity to do that. And I think when parents are able to make that connection between things happening outside of school, things in their home, and things in the school, that's when we really start to see an investment in what they're learning inside of these 4 walls. I also just want to say another way that I think that our school does a really good job helping everyone belong is our counseling team. I have been at other schools that did not have such a strong counseling team, but I have seen how much they love and care for these kids and make sure that everyone's social emotional needs are met. Kids that have like learning things that they need, learning hurdles that they need help with, our counseling team is top notch. And so I really just want to make sure they get mentioned in that belong side of things.
Yeah. All right, thank you. Say, do you want to add something to that, or how do you deal with this? Like, how do you keep on learning?
Well, first of all, we have amazing teachers here at ISHR, and they really put their time and effort into making us learn. And honestly, I've been in a few schools before as well, and I think that the way they've done, as Ms. B mentioned earlier as well, that how you put these efforts in summative assessments and stuff, honestly, it helps me. It helps me bring my creative side of myself out as well, and I think it's really important that students get to show that.
Yeah. So, and as teacher and director, of course, I think it's also important to
Teacher as well, Nicola.
Yeah, that's true.
First and
True,
foremost.
yeah. What does the school do, and what did you feel like the school did to help you belong as teachers and as staff to the school?
We have a lot of really nice people who work here, but the school does support us to be trained in the ways that we need to be trained. So, for example, last weekend, I was just in the UK getting some English training because I've always taught English except for last year. And so now I'm back into English as well as the humanities department. And so that part of the training or that part of the support is really good. But I also think I work with some really incredible professionals and have made some great friendships myself. I think that that's really important that we can find our teacher people because we're still humans. And for example, Mr. Barker and I play in the school band together, the teacher band. And so there's little ways where we could kind of have fun as teachers too.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's important that we invest in our teachers in terms of their professional growth. So that's something that the school takes very seriously. It's also not to be underestimated when a teacher moves from one country to the next, particularly if they're moving with their family. It's not easy, and so that part of the school's responsibility is to try and make sure that teachers settle into Hanover and into life at ISHR as quickly and as effectively as possible. So a lot of support is put behind making sure that those teachers do make a successful start, not just to the teaching side of things and the systems that we have here in the school, but also to life in general, making sure they've got somewhere to live, making sure that they know their way around Hanover, making sure that they have got a social circle, and we do take that very seriously. And that's part of how we invest in our teachers.
All right. Yeah, that sounds really nice. Okay, so is there anyone who'd like to add anything as a final note before we end this episode?
Maybe we should stress the learn part just a little more and the importance of being lifelong learners. And I think that above all, for me as a teacher, and I'm pretty confident that Mr. Barker would agree with this, like when you guys leave here as students, we want you guys to have a desire to learn more. We want you guys to be curious. We want you to be critical thinkers because you have so many opportunities to contribute to a society that's increasingly facing challenges that have never been faced before. And I think that's my favorite part about teaching this new generation. Like I love teaching Gen Z. People hate on Gen Z a lot, and I think that is misplaced hatred. And so I'm a big fan. I think that you guys are going to be world changers, and that's such an important part of our school's role in your lives.
Yeah, I fully agree with that. And I think, when you look at some of the overwhelming challenges that the world faces, with our vision and with the values that are aligned with that of the IB, we mean it when we say that we want to send students out into the world who are, global citizens who are going to make a difference in the world, and the world needs that. And when when alumni, graduates from earlier years come back to the school, one of the things that they tell us is that they feel that from an academic perspective, they've been very well prepared for the demands of undergraduate education. That doesn't come as a surprise or a shock to them because of the preparation that they've received here at the school. But also on a social side of things, they find that they're able to fit in very easily in different environments. They're articulate. They've got a global network of friends and colleagues who've gone off to different parts of the world and different universities, and that's a lifelong network as well. So they're not just leaving the school as individuals; they're leaving the school as a collective, and that's something that we're accepting. Nothing gives me greater pride than seeing students walk across the stage and graduate and go on to, to achieve fantastic things.
All right. Okay. I hope that was as interesting to you as this was to me, and I hope you tune in next time for another episode which we'll hopefully be releasing in the coming months. Thank you for listening and tuning in, and see you soon. Goodbye.